Hello, QVS AP Human Geography students. I hope you had a good week and I hope you're enjoying your weekend. I want to talk to you about how you should proceed next week as we move into week 3 for Essential Unit 1. This is an important week because it will involve you finishing all of the activities that have been designed for the unit on thinking geographically. And it will entail you uploading your notes for chapter 1 in our textbook. So if you have not yet downloaded that textbook, please make sure you send a request to me soon so that you can read chapter 1. It's still doable within the context of this week. It's just important that you get started on that activity, read the chapter and complete the note sheet, because before the unit test will be available for you, you have to make sure that you upload that note sheet to the course page. So what I want to talk to you about today is how you will proceed through week three, and what the activities will concentrate on. And then I want to talk about the window of dates that you will have to take the first unit test. And we'll also start a selective unit near the end of this week, another one of those selective units. So I want to show you what that's going to look like too. So without any further ado, let's go to the course page and I can show you around for week 3. Here we go. Let me take you down to unit 1 and open this up. So by this point in time, you should have done the series on Introduction to Maps. You should have done the ArcGIS data mapping activity so that I could see where all of you are located in the world. And you should have also done the activities on the power of geographic data, including that cholera simulation activity. And that one you learned how John Snow used geography to solve a big problem in England back in the 19th century. Then you should have also done these 2 activities on spatial concepts, how features are distributed across the earth. They follow different patterns, and also related to those different patterns, there are some issues that we face geographically speaking in situations, especially as they relate to distance decay. Now that problem has since in many ways been resolved with modern technology, but it was especially an issue for early empires. You'll do that activity if you haven't done already. It's applied to the Russian Empire and the construction of the Trans-Siberian Railroad, but I talked about that last week. So you should have met or completed those activities. And now I want to talk about how you should move on into week 3. One very important concept in geography are the 5 themes of geography. So if we open up this activity, or this gift of knowledge, as I like to call it, you'll come to a graphic on the first page of the activity that outlines the 5 themes of geography. So we will give the internet a second here to load it up. Here it comes. And central to these 5 themes are location, okay? And oftentimes when we speak of location, it deals with absolute or relative location, that everybody can be pinpointed on the earth with using latitude and longitude. Then after location, there is place, and place, as you will learn in the video, is broken down into 2 major themes, whether it be physical features or cultural features on the earth. Physical features dealing with like landforms, climate, vegetation, whereas cultural features deal with how humans have built practices over time, whether it be history or religion or language. That would all be confined under the theme of place. And then human environment interaction, which I think is a little bit obvious, how people interact with their environment, how they adapt to, how they change the environment. Later on in the week, you will have a little bit of a debate as it relates to human environment interaction because within the study of AP Human Geography, there's a debate between environmental determinism versus possibilism. And when I take you to that activity, I'll talk a little bit more deeply related to that. Then we have movement, and then finally we have region. And region is of particular importance because in AP Human Geography, when you take the test or in preparing for the exam, you have to be very familiar with the regions of the world and how the College Board breaks them down. So you really have to know the difference between North America and Latin America and East Africa and Central Africa versus Southern Africa. So when we speak to regions with the AP course, there are specific denotations on what we call AP regions, and you've seen them map on the course page. So work through this activity. You'll watch Mr. Sin talk about the 5 themes, and then there are some multiple choice questions thereafter. So let me take you back to the main part of the page. Then moving on from there, you have a couple activities that are offline activities where you will apply and find the 5 themes. So in one case, I give you an article about a place in Turkey. It's actually really interesting and cool, and it's supported with a little video if you are so interested in watching. And you have to essentially apply those 5 themes or locate those 5 themes within the context of the article that you will read. So I don't anticipate that you're going to have any major problems with these 2 activities that support the 5 themes of geography activity, which is aimed to be like an introduction to them. You might be able to do all 3 of these within the context of one day. And if you feel like you're behind, then I would encourage you to try and do that. But I also want to ensure you that I've built some time in to compensate for the fact that this unit is coming to an end and some of you are maybe just starting the course. So I don't want you to feel like you're behind. But those activities are achievable within the context of maybe an hour and a half. Moving on, the last activity within the context of human environment interaction is a forum. So you're going to be interacting with each other, how apropos, in a little debate that surrounds this idea of environmental determinism versus environmental possibilism. It is a debate in geography, and the big question is, how are people, or societies, I should say, how are people impacted by the features of the environment? In the determinist argument, the point is made that our surroundings heavily impact the level or rate of development, whereas the possibilists argue quite the opposite. Their argument is that humans adapt to the environment and then use those adaptations to advance and progress. So you'll be looking at 2 sides of this argument. There's lots of support here for you to consider both sides, and I think it's important before you make your decision to look at the big picture and consider both sides. There are a couple articles here that you can read on both of them, and then there are a couple crash course videos that you can read, that you can listen to, I should say, on both of them. Although it's interesting, I'll tell you this from the start. After the first 2 crash course episodes were created on this concept, the crash course guys, John and Hank Green, took them down because they believed that the presentation of environmental determinism was not done fairly or in considering a lot of the research that had been done related to that school of thought. So these videos were taken down or the series ended after they created these two videos. They're still obviously on YouTube for you to watch, but I'd be interested in hearing from you your thoughts in terms of why the Green brothers decided to uh, stall the rest of the series because of early issues with this debate in geographic studies. So after you look at both articles and after you listen to both videos, then you have to make an original post. Make sure that you place in the subject line the side of the debate that you most support, and give a reason why you support that position. And one important feature of this is that you discuss this debate with each other. So make sure that you respond to at least two of your classmates, fellow classmates, with constructive posts. Don't just say, I agree. Try to get to the heart of why you agree, what commonalities that you share with that. And if you disagree, just remember to be diplomatic. We can always disagree and say why we disagree in a nice way. So be sure to do that. It should be an interesting little debate there. Then you're going to move on to scales of analysis. We'll take a look at the difference between local, national, and global scale. You'll put together some maps in this activity where you are going to have to go and do some research and present some type of concept on a local, national, and global scale. I don't anticipate that you'll have too much trouble like that with that. If you open it, there are some examples, like there's a map right there that's a great example of the difference between small scale, something shown on a map at small scale versus large scale. So you're going to put together a collection of maps on a topic that you choose to demonstrate that you have an understanding of the difference between scale. So that should be a fun activity for you to do. And then I need you to move on to the last topic, which is regional analysis. And in doing this activity, you'll actually get to go a little bit deeper into that fifth theme of geography. So as I mentioned before, the AP College Board defines these regions in the world. You'll do an activity where you become familiar with these different regions that are exemplified in this introductory map for the unit. And then there's just a summary activity. And then finally, an area for you to upload your notes. Here's a practice quiz that you can do that correlates to the textbook. In clicking here, you'll be taken to an outside resource, but just again, to practice so that you prepare for the unit test. Now, let me talk quickly about the unit test, but I will mention this again in week 4. In this test, you will have a window. You can see that it's not even available to you until September 26th, and your test window is all the way up until October 2nd, or really, I suppose, October 4th, which is a Sunday evening. It is a time test. It's designed like the AP exam, so you will have a lot of stimulus-based multiple choice questions to answer, along with a short answer question. And like I said, it's a time test. So once you open it, if you close it without finishing it, I will be notified as such. So make sure that you don't open it until you have the time to engage in the test. Now, I say you have that big test window because the other thing that I'm going to have you do during that test window is open this selective unit on geography, skills, and themes. And I want you to do the activities under this unit along with the test in that test window period, because anything that you'll do in this selective unit won't necessarily be assessed on the Unit 1 test, but it allows us to get into some deeper features of the different geographic regions. So when you open this activity, I want you to do all of the lessons that correlate to Essential Unit 1. So in this one, you'll listen to a TED Talk. In this one, you'll do some map skills practice with our regional focus being North America, and you'll watch a Geography Now video on North America. and look at some geographic challenges related to North America and current events too. So please engage in that unit that week as well.